You are holding what was supposed to be Samsung's game-changing foldable phone, the Z Fold 7. It is thinner, lighter, and looks absolutely stunning when you unfold it. But then you notice something: the battery dies faster than your patience in a traffic jam. The cameras struggle in certain conditions, and you start wondering, is this really worth $2,000? Here is the thing about the Z Fold 7. Samsung definitely stepped up their game in some areas. They made it incredibly thin at just 4.2 millimeters when unfolded, which honestly feels like magic in your hands. They finally gave us a decent 6.5-inch cover screen that does not feel like you're texting on a TV remote. But here is where it gets interesting, and a bit frustrating. While Samsung was busy making their phone thinner, companies like Vivo and Honor were quietly solving the real problems that foldable users actually care about. Today, we are diving deep into what Samsung got right with the Z Fold 7, but more importantly, what they absolutely need to fix with the upcoming Z Fold 8. We will explore the design tweaks that could make this phone actually comfortable to hold. We will talk about why the battery situation is honestly embarrassing for a flagship device. And we will discuss the camera improvements that could finally make this foldable a true photography powerhouse. By the end of this video, you will know exactly what to expect from Samsung's next foldable and whether it is worth waiting for. Let's start with the design, because this is where Samsung made some real progress with the Z Fold 7. That 4.2mm thickness when unfolded is genuinely impressive. You can barely believe you are holding a phone with two screens. When you compare it side by side with the Z Fold 6, the difference is immediately noticeable. The older model feels chunky and outdated in comparison. Samsung also finally addressed one of the biggest complaints about their foldables: that narrow cover screen. The new 6.5-inch panel means you can actually type messages and browse apps without feeling like you are using a calculator. This was a huge pain point for years, and Samsung deserves credit for finally listening to user feedback. But here is where the design story gets complicated. While the Z Fold 7 looks sleek and modern, those flat sides are not comfortable during long use sessions. Hold this phone for more than 30 minutes, and you will start feeling it dig into your palms. Compare this to devices like the Honor Magic V5 or Vivo X Fold 5, which have supple beveled edges. These small design choices make a massive difference in daily comfort. The Z Fold 8 needs these kinds of ergonomic improvements, not just for looks, but for actual usability. Now let's talk about durability, because this is where Samsung's leadership in foldables is starting to show cracks. Samsung pioneered water resistance on foldable phones, which was a huge deal when they first introduced it. But the Z Fold 7 still maxes out at IP48 protection, which feels outdated in 2025. Meanwhile, the Magic V5 offers IP58 resistance, and the X Fold 5 goes even further with an IP59 rating. Google just announced IP68 protection for their Pixel 10 Pro Fold, which honestly makes Samsung's offering look weak. When you are spending $2,000 on a phone, you expect it to handle more than light splashes and dust. The Z Fold 8 absolutely needs better ingress protection if Samsung wants to maintain their reputation for durable foldables. Moving on to the battery situation, and this is where I need to be brutally honest with Samsung. The 4,400 mAh battery in the Z Fold 7 is simply inadequate for a flagship device in 2025. I have tested dozens of phones this year, and this has the smallest battery of any premium device I have used. Think about this for a second. The Vivo X200 FE, which is a mid-range phone, packs a 5,300 mAh battery. That is almost a full gigabyte more capacity than Samsung's top-tier foldable. The Magic V5 comes with a 5,850 mAh battery, while the X Fold 5 pushes that to 6,000 mAh. When I switched from the X Fold 5 to the Z Fold 7 for testing, the difference in battery life was immediately obvious. The Samsung device struggled to make it through a full day of heavy usage, while the Chinese competitors easily pushed into a second day. For the Z Fold 8, Samsung needs to target at least 5,000 mAh. Anything less would be a disappointment. But the battery capacity is only part of the problem. Samsung's charging speeds are stuck in 2020, with just 25 watts of power delivery. Every other flagship foldable I tested this year supports at least 66 watts of fast charging. Some go even higher, with 80 or 100 watt charging becoming common in premium devices. When your phone costs $2,000, waiting 2 hours for a full charge feels ridiculous. The whole point of a foldable is that larger inner screen for productivity and entertainment. But what good is extra screen real estate if your phone dies halfway through the day? Samsung needs to address both battery capacity and charging speeds with the Z Fold 8. Now let's discuss cameras, because this is an area where Samsung made some progress but still has work to do. The upgrade to a 200-megapixel main camera on the Z Fold 7 was definitely the right move. This sensor can genuinely compete with what Honor and Vivo offer on their foldables. The detail and color reproduction from the main camera are impressive, especially in good lighting conditions. But Samsung seems to have forgotten that modern smartphones need more than just one good camera. The 12-megapixel ultra-wide camera is decent but nothing special. It gets the job done without standing out. The real problem is that 10-megapixel telephoto camera, which feels outdated compared to the competition. Both the X Fold 5 and Magic V5 offer better zoom capabilities with more advanced telephoto systems. In my testing, the Z Fold 7 holds its own against the S25 Ultra and even the iPhone in certain scenarios. But when you compare it directly to other flagship foldables, the camera limitations become obvious. Samsung needs to give the same attention to all camera sensors, not just the main one. The Z Fold 8 should feature upgraded ultra-wide and telephoto cameras to create a truly balanced photography system. Here is something exciting that Samsung is reportedly working on for the Z Fold 8: significant improvements in crease reduction. If you have used any foldable phone, you know that visible crease down the middle of the inner screen is always there. It is not a deal breaker, but it is definitely noticeable, especially when viewing light-colored content. Samsung is apparently developing a dual ultra-thin glass structure for the Z Fold 8. This design sandwiches the OLED panel between two layers of glass for better durability and less visible creasing. They are also working on a redesigned laminate structure that should improve both flexibility and strength. The most interesting innovation is laser-drilled micro-perforations that allow more controlled bending. This reduces stress on the display during repeated folding and unfolding cycles. Early reports suggest these improvements could reduce crease visibility by up to 20% compared to the Z Fold 7. If Samsung can deliver on these promises, the Z Fold 8 could set a new standard for foldable displays. A smoother, more seamless inner screen would make the device more appealing to users who are still hesitant about foldables. Looking at the bigger picture, we are entering a fascinating period in foldable smartphone development. Samsung has dominated this space for years, but Chinese brands are pushing them hard with better batteries, faster charging, and improved cameras. Apple is also reportedly working on their first foldable device, which could shake up the entire market. Competition is always good for consumers because it forces companies to innovate faster and deliver better value. Samsung's focus on making phones thinner and reducing screen creases is important for the user experience. But they also need to address the fundamental issues that affect daily usage: battery life, charging speed, and camera quality. The Z Fold 8 represents Samsung's opportunity to regain clear leadership in the foldable space. They have the brand recognition, the retail presence, and the software ecosystem to succeed. But they need to listen to user feedback and match what competitors are offering in terms of core specifications. So here's the bottom line about the Z Fold 8. Samsung has a real opportunity to create something special. The Z Fold 7 showed they can make meaningful improvements in design and display quality. But the next generation needs to address those fundamental issues we discussed today. A bigger battery, faster charging, better cameras, and improved durability aren't just nice-to-have features. These are essentials for a $2,000 flagship device in 2026. The question is whether Samsung will prioritize these practical improvements or continue focusing mainly on making their phones thinner. What do you think Samsung should prioritize most with the Galaxy Z Fold 8? Let me know in the comments below which of these improvements matters most to you. If you found this video helpful, smash that like button and subscribe for more detailed coverage of upcoming smartphones. So that is all we know for now. We will be sure to keep you updated as soon as we have more information. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.